The Ohio State Buckeyes and the Iowa Hawkeyes are set for action right behind me this afternoon at the Shoe for a big matchup here in today's Big Ten matchup between Ohio State and Iowa. We'll get you set here in our pregame episode of the Buckeye Breakdown podcast.
We've got the whole crew together as we cover Ohio State with our instant analysis from Ohio State.
There's something that doesn't feel right.
Unbelievable effort from him today. Is E.J. Liddell going to crack the first team All Big Ten?
I think he can be the guy. I'm not trying to start a quarterback controversy.
He seems to have the durability. He certainly has the toughness. This is the question on a lot of people's minds here. Welcome to Buckeye Breakdown.
Well, hey, Buckeyes fans, and happy game day to you wherever you may be celebrating. Anthony Moeglin here alongside my partner, Kevin Woidke, getting you set for a huge matchup today in the Horseshoe between the Ohio State Buckeyes and the Iowa Hawkeyes. And we talked all week long, Kevin, about how Ohio State's schedule has kind of worked out pretty nicely for them in terms of each week. The level of competition has certainly increased. And this afternoon in the Horseshoe, they're going to face their best test so far in this stingy Iowa Hawkeyes.
Absolutely. I think that, it's going to be a good test. They need it. They're about to hit the slaughter of there with Indiana playing well. They're about to hit, their big time games. They got Oregon next week, then they got another bye, and they're playing the rest of the season out. So I think this is a good time to have that test and get ready for next week. And, don't want to overlook this week, but it needs to be done.
Yeah, no question about it. And for today's game specifically, Ohio State on paper is the better football team. Iowa is kind of their same story as they've always have been. They're a tough, hard-nosed ball club, but they can't really throw the ball, and they don't have much explosive power to their offense. So Ohio State should certainly take care of business. Vegas seems to agree. They're 18-point favorites heading into action today. But, Kevin, when you look at this game, what are maybe a couple keys to victory? Maybe not to victory, but keys for Ohio State to continue their steady improvement that they've shown throughout the season so far and get out of here today with a victory?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing we talked about on Tuesday is limiting, Caleb to not averaging 8-9 yards a carry. I think that, stuff in the run on defense is going to be huge, and that's the lifeblood of this Iowa team. And if you can get on top of them early, I think that'll be a huge way to stifle them for the rest of the game.
No question. And make them one-dimensional, right? We know that they're a one-dimensional football team, but make them have to start throwing the football, right? If you could take their run away and make them having to start drop back and pass, I think that's going to bode well for Ohio State, especially as this game continues to move along. If they're able to move the football on the ground, it's going to be really challenging for Ohio State to execute on both sides of the football because the game's going to get shrunk in a big way. So stopping the run on defense is huge. For me, on the offensive side of the football, it's continue to improve, right? It's been a steady improvement on that side of the ball. We've seen it kind of click just one time when Ohio State and Western Michigan played a few weeks back, and Ohio State's offense really looked the part, what we've come to expect from them. But since then, there's been some great quarters and some bad quarters, and it hasn't been this consistent flow. It's been a little inconsistent. So for me, on that side of the ball, it's going to be improving, continuing to stay consistent, and being that explosive offense. And Kevin, I think the last point here that I think is really important for this Ohio State team is just get out of here and start to impose your will on these teams. You saw it last week late in that Michigan State game where they just started to pull away. But as the year kind of continues, we're getting into week 6 to the midpoint of the season, Ohio State's going to start to separate from the rest of the competition. And I think today, if they can put together 4 strong quarters, they can really do that and make a big impact this Saturday.
Yeah, I think that, that's a key point. I think that, you need to show that you are one of the best teams in the country, and that is imposing your will against lesser teams. I mean, you saw Ohio State do it for the last decade. Like, when they are the better team, they show it, and maybe it's not immediately, but they start to put that weight on you, and then you start to fall backwards. I mean, the most thing I'm excited for is I can't wait to see Cade McNamara throw footballs again against Ohio State. I can't wait. It's going to be amazing.
I thought you were going to say G. Scott today because we missed you on Thursday's show. But
I don't even need to talk about G. Scott. He showed himself out last week. I just know I'm here to support him.
It's awesome. Well, we're about an hour away from kickoff, right behind me inside the Horseshoe here, as the Ohio State Buckeyes and the Iowa Hawkeyes get set for really a huge matchup, Kevin. And for all the news, highlights, and analysis for these Buckeyes. Subscribe to our channel. We love doing these shows and bringing you content just like this, not only on game day like today, but throughout the entire week. And then also check out all of our written work over on our site, si.com/college/Ohio State, where we got you covered wall to wall for all things Ohio State Buckeyes. But for today, after Kevin and I get out of here, we'll join you back tonight after the game for a post-game analysis show, kind of talking through what happened on that field. We'll also have all the post-game comments from coaches and players and all things here on this channel. But for my partner, Kevin Woidke, I'm Anthony Moeglin, getting you set for Ohio State and Iowa in a Week 6 Big Ten matchup.